to the VADA testing itself?
Um, we we haven't heard from them, but I'm not sure if VADA have gotten a hold of them or anything like that. But I'm just focused so much in my training that to me that's my main concern right now.
Does it make a statement to you of any kind if your opponents aren't willing to participate in the same kind of testing that you are?
No, it doesn't matter whether they do or not. I do the things that I do for my fans, for myself, and for the good of boxing. But if they decide not to, I mean, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt them. You know, um, it is what it is. To me, I go out there and just fight my best.
Do you see anything stylistically that Nishioka presents to you that might be a challenge?
It's a southpaw. That's pretty much what a difficulty is. Southpaw with a good punch. So you always gotta watch out for that.
What do you think his best weapon is?
That straight left. That straight left is dangerous. Knocked out Giant Gonzalez and hurt a lot of guys and knocked out a lot of guys with that left. So that's his main dangerous thing. It's pretty much like a Darchinian type, except with a strategy.
Trying to say Vic doesn't have a strategy.
That's what I'm saying. He does have a strategy, which is to throw his punch, to throw his hands. But aside from that, it's like a big Darchinian with a strategy and speed.
He seems to be a smart fighter, and you talked about strategy when you were in there today. What is your strategy going into this?
Well, that depends. There's a lot. I'm the type of person that flows with whatever style they give me. If they give me a boxing style, of course I'm gonna be doing something different. If they give me a aggressive style, I'm gonna do something different. So whatever style they're gonna give me is the style that I'm gonna work with.
How do you feel about fighting Nishioka? He's the speed king. Have you ever fought anybody this fast before? And are you prepared to fight somebody with a lot of speed? Someone that could probably almost match your speed.
I fought guys back in the amateurs with great speed, but they weren't fast enough. I know that the speed king is a fast guy, but when it comes to the thing is, a lot of guys can be faster than me, but if you're not fast enough where I can't see you, if you're fast enough that I can't see your punches, then you're fast. But there's guys out there that are way faster than me, but speed can be taken away by timing, and therefore I'm faster than them because I can take their timing. I can take that timing and take away their speed, and that's pretty much why some guys in the past who were supposed to be the fastest guy in the United States, supposedly, or whoever, have taken away their speed is because of the timing. And with my speed, to increase with that timing made me look faster. And therefore, I am faster in that sense because of how you can take advantage of it. But if it turns out to be faster than I am, we know what to do after that.
How important is the jab going to be in your game plan?
Jab is always an important. Whoever you fight, it could be a guy who fights in or fights out. A jab is the main thing that sets you up with everything. So, jab is offense and defense.
Is it going to be different against Nishioka because he's a southpaw and landing the jab on a southpaw is going to be different?
Landing the jab on the southpaw is easier because it's just right there. Because it's a mirror match. The lead hand is gonna be closer to the opponent, but at the same time, it's the most difficult to land because it sets you up with everything, as well as it sets you up with your plan. So it's a mirror match. If he can figure it out, then it's gonna be a tough fight. But if he can't, it's gonna be a much easier fight.
Talked about the jab. Was that something that was missing from the last 3 fights that we saw you in? Or?
Definitely. It's something that you learn, something that you experiment with. And we've experimented with power. We've experimented with head movements, but we're all done with that.
Yeah.
It's going back to the roots. It's going back to my style. It's going back to who Nonito Donaire is. So.
Did the Montiel knockout? Did you fall in love with the power after that fight a little bit?
It did, but I think it's more of just an experimental afterwards because I was just kind of looping around, finding a challenge, You know, until I got to Nishioka, this was my goal. Nishioka is my goal to fight, you know, in this division. And I think that I'm going to be floating around after this as well until I find someone that I want to fight.
I know you don't want to look too much ahead, but say you do beat him on the 13th. What do you think? I know Moreno and Mars got big things too, but who would you like to see after that?
Like I said in the interview earlier, it doesn't matter. If they're willing to fight, put their name right next to mine in the contract, whoever it is, I'll fight.
You've mentioned before wanting to unify at 122, at least as far as taking 3 of the 4 belts. How long are you willing to stay at 122 to see that through?
Well, right now I know that I'm a little bit smaller in this division because I'm walking around 129, 130. That's throughout this camp, you know. So that means I should be fighting at 118, you know, if I could. But I actually like fighting at this weight where I don't have to lose that much weight, maybe a pound or 2 in the day of the weigh-ins, or just nothing. It's really nothing. So it's all about just feeling comfortable. And this division gave me a lot of. I could fight in this division for a long time, you know. But also if I push myself to bring more challenge in the bigger division, you know, I can always work with my body.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You mentioned the mirror image, obviously fighting Nishioka as a southpaw. But he's obviously a lot closer to your left hook than if he's closer to your left jab. Do you think it's going to be difficult to land the left hook on him, or?
It's going to be difficult because it's always going to be. It's like it's funny as it may sound, but it's like a samurai with their swords. When they pull it out, it lands, and one, you know, in the movies you'll see one just falls down while the other one's like hurt. Next thing you know, and the other one's like actually is the winner or something like that, right? It's kind of like that. It's just, and you don't know what's going on. That's the same thing. Is if he throws that left right down the middle, if he's fast enough, it will land before I can throw that hook. If I'm fast enough, you'll see a Darchinian knockout type. But again, Darchinian didn't have the speed as Nishioka, so he might be able to land this punch at the same time that I'm throwing those hooks. So that's something that we work on. That's something that we can gamble on. I mean, it's an interesting fight.
You mentioned a lot about the Darchinian match. Talking to Baz earlier, he mentioned how you're going back to old school Flash, Filipino Flash. What made you the Filipino Flash? What does he mean by that?
Like I said, you know, the last 3 fights has been experimental, smooth in the head, and I've been getting caught. Usually I don't get hit. In my fights, I don't get hit. Darchinians, I didn't get hit. You know, Vladimir Sidorenko, I didn't get hit. Montiel, I didn't get hit. So again, bringing back to the old Flash, that is aware of jabs, that is aware of punches, and that's aware of not getting hit, you know, and seeing everything. So we might see that Flash or bringing that back.
Hey, Nonito, you know, you have some vulnerability in your hands. You've been hurt in the last 2 fights. Are you expecting that your hand is going to be hurt in this upcoming fight against Nishioka? And
it's always a thing, you know. It's always something going on. I mean, the old school fighters have had injuries throughout their career, and doctors already told me that you're always going to have a hand problem. We expect everything and anything, but regardless if my hand falls off or anything, you'll still pick it up and hit you with it. You know, that's pretty much my mentality, you know. So yeah, no matter how painful it is, and no matter how tough it is, pain is nothing.
Nick said you were doing a number on your sparring partners. How tough was it to find lefties that can hit with the left hand to mirror? You know,
it's tough. You know, it's tough because there's guys that just don't have that much power when it comes down to it. You know, I got a guy here. His name, he hasn't turned pro yet, but he's a great prospect. I think he's gonna be world champion if he keeps it up. What's his name? Eric De Leon from Detroit. You know, he's fast. You know, and he knows how to dodge punches. But you know, again, there's not a Nishioka straight, but his speed is fast. He's a fast kid, and you know, it gives me back my youth. You know, with with the kids. He's 20 years old, but his speed gives me back how I used to be. So you know, that's definitely important for me.
one more question, guys.
how important
Sorry,
is
Norman. Yeah, Norman.
How important is this victory for you? Because you're gonna get the Ring Magazine belt, man. And I think I don't. Other aside from Pacquiao, who's ever gotten that belt, how does it feel to be, to be on top of like that? If you were able to win, how important is this victory for you?
It's important. I mean, because it's the guy that I want to face. To me, that's pretty much what's important to me. It's who I want to face, who I want to fight, and to me, that's what matters most to me. And all the other belts come with it, and I'm really honored with that. I want to fight the best, and that's all there is to it with me. And every fight is important.
Do you have a prediction for the outcome?
I don't predict much of fights, but
Do you think you can
definitely
stop
gonna-
him?
There's a possibility of that, but he also has the same possibility. Like I said, he has the power. This fight can end as fast as first round to the final bell.
Were you suffering any leg problems during the Matabula fight?
I made a mistake of just doing a lot of things that I took a break on the last week instead of keep training like I usually do. And that was the problem is I let my legs sleep and warming up into the fight because they kept telling me, Pavlik's gonna knock this guy out early and just you guys got 15 minutes to do this, to do that. So we started in the beginning to warm up until like the very end. So we warmed up for the whole fight. And when at the time I was done, I was like, dude, I'm tired already, or at least my legs was tired.
You want to say thank you to your fans and thank you to your supporters that have been supporting you throughout the years, and you want to plug your Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I always want to say thank you guys for all the support, all the prayers, and just for being there, following me throughout the years. Follow me in my Facebook, my official Facebook, my Twitter at Filipino Flash, and of course, for all the people from the Bay Area or in the Philippines, as you know, I have a movie coming up, so hopefully you guys can support that as well. But the fight is the main thing for me, and hopefully that you guys can watch it and support it. October 13th in Carson, HBO, Top Rank, and ABS-CBN if you guys are in the Philippines. So thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you.